The former attorney for the Latinos for Trump political group, as well as the Blacks for Trump group, will plead guilty to her part in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, according to court documents by Law and Crime. So, Kellye SoRelle, pictured here, who was general counsel to the right-wing militia group, the Oath Keepers, had reached a plea agreement with federal authorities. Federal prosecutor Matthew Graves announced the deal in a court filing in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday, but did not reveal the nature of the deal and wrote that it should be submitted to the judge separately. So we don't know the details, all right? SoRelle had faced 4 charges, including obstruction of an official proceeding. She was also charged with obstruction of justice for allegedly telling other January 6 protesters to delete information about their activities from their phones on that day. SoRelle is a close ally of former Oath Keepers leader Stewart Rhodes, and is a former Republican candidate for the Texas House of Representatives, and served as the counsel for Latinos for Trump and Blacks for Trump. Now, after Rhodes was jailed for alleged sedition, SoRelle told Rolling Stone magazine in an email that I'm currently acting as president of Oath Keepers in lieu of Mr. Rhodes until his release. She also defended Rhodes to the Wall Street Journal when it published an article about his alleged misuse of Oath Keeper funds to buy everything from guns to groceries. She said the allegations were coming from, quote, disgruntled people that have a bone to pick, and that the allegations were petty, stupid, and salacious. So, look, I wish we knew the details of this plea agreement. Maybe she will be dropping evidence against others, possibly even Rhodes himself. Who knows, right? I'm not sure, though. I mean, Rhodes has already been sentenced. But that said, the relationship between her and Rhodes, that's why she was there in the first place. I mean, look, I was reading about her and that relationship, and apparently he was incredibly manipulative, and during this trial, even threw her under the bus, saying that she had sent the messages to the Oath Keepers to keep quiet about January 6th and to delete the evidence from their phones, that she alone, that she was not told to do so by him. Prosecutors argued that Rhodes had a lot of control over SoRelle and that he frequently manipulated her into doing his bidding. According to Law and Crime, one testifying, Rhodes bragged about his sexual encounters with her and at one point smiled and laughed as he described her alleged sexual proclivities and how she was a submissive. So she was very subby to him, which is what apparently a lot of right-wing men like, very submissive women that will, do the things that the man tells her to do. That includes doing crime. Now, Rhodes also made SoRelle his point person between the Oath Keepers network and those leading the pro-Donald Trump Stop the Steal movement. That included Roger Stone and Ali Alexander. So, yes, she was very much involved. Whether or not she was manipulated, pressured into doing so, it doesn't really matter when it comes to the law. She still ended up doing those crimes, okay? Now, that said, there was an interesting fact here that you had District Judge Amit Mehta deeming SoRelle mentally incompetent following her September 2022 arrest. So at first she's like, no, you're mentally incompetent. You can't stand trial. Now, later on, of course, she was restored to competency and released from custody the following year and had been charged with conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstructing justice by tampering with documents, and had entered and remained in a restricted building or grounds. Now, the latter charge happens to be a misdemeanor. All the others are felony. However, at least 2 of the charges against her could be affected by the recent Supreme Court decision in in Fisher v. United States. So that also affects a lot of the other Capitol rioters, that decision. And so, obstruction has been very, very, the scope of the obstruction charges has been limited. But that said, the evidence tampering charges against her do carry a maximum sentence of up to 20 years in prison. And there's still the trespassing charge, which is up to a year in prison. Very unlikely that she was going to get the maximum on either of those. But in pleading, she avoided those sentences. And so I don't know what she's going to plead down to. I don't know what's going to happen. She might end up just taking the trespassing charge. It depends on what information she ends up giving the prosecutors and what they're going to use it for. So ultimately, we're going to have to see what that happens. So far, no details on that. Now, for me, what's interesting here is getting the details on how she was treated by Mr. Rhodes, okay? Makes me think of, yes, that she was taken advantage of, she was fed lies, and was basically made to do some of the Oath Keepers' dirty work for a person that apparently didn't give a damn about her. I mean, based on him throwing her under the bus and, laughing and saying, oh, yeah, these are my sexual exploits. Basically viewing her as nothing more than just an object, a piece of meat. And so it makes me feel like she, in some way, was victimized, okay? Not that erases any of the crimes, okay? But to a certain degree, you definitely could consider her a victim of a violent right-wing manipulator. And you could also consider her someone who is mentally fragile enough to be taken advantage of in those ways. Now, that said, whatever she does, hopefully she does give good information to put away, people who did violent crime related to this, right? Because what she's in for is nothing that's violent, but still wrong. And so hopefully she's going to continue to, she's going to serve whatever time she's agreed to. And most importantly, gets mental help and comes out a different and healthier person who actually shows regret for trying to help Trump and his allies in the Oath Keepers attempt to overturn and subvert democracy. I'm hoping that's look, I'm having a little hopium here, all right? That people who are involved in this end up understanding and seeing what they did wrong and to go in a different / better direction. That's my personal hope. I don't know how realistic it is, but again, that's why they call it hope, right? Because you're just hoping for a better outcome, something that's different, for people to learn their lessons and to get back into society. That's rehabilitation, and I'm totally fine with that as long as it's sincere. And so we're going to have to see what happens in this case. But for now, I shall remain the eternal optimist. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.